I got this on my YouTube recommendeds, and it was Lazy Peon, MMO players are sick and tired. Wait, did I already watch this? I don't think I've watched this. I got it on my YouTube recommendeds like multiple times, and I don't think I've actually watched it. It's fire? All right, let's watch it then. Okay, right here, guys. MMO players are sick and tired by Lazy Peon. It was in my YouTube recommendeds for way too long. Let's give it a watch.
As someone who's been covering the MMORPG genre on YouTube for the past 10 years, I've noticed that in recent years, the MMO community's attitude to new announcements, upcoming games, and the genre as a whole has certainly shifted from being somewhat optimistic to more pessimistic. And who can blame them? I've noticed it especially in myself. A couple of years ago, whenever a new MMO was announced, I was excited to make content and dive into the details for basically every upcoming game in the genre. Nowadays though, I'm less quick to even cover newly announced upcoming releases because deep down, I know that there's a high chance they either won't make it to a full release, or they'll struggle to maintain a player base for longer than 1 year. In this video, I'm gonna...
MMOs are a hard genre to just like break into and do well. Like, they're really expensive to make. They take a really long time to make. Let's be honest, us MMO players are really picky, and it's like... It's just like kind of scary, and it's like you even try, you're gonna get like completely rinsed unless it's amazing, and it's like, good luck, you know. Like, someone asked me yesterday, like, what would I do if I was like the dev for Classic Plus? Or no, they asked like if Peekaboo and I could make our own MMO, like would we do it, or like how would we do it? And it's like, honestly, that would be so hard. Like, obviously I have ideas and like there's stuff we could do, but it would be so hard. And like anything that we did, players would just like, would be like crying and like upset. Like, I don't know, it seems like such an impossible task, you know?
Talk about why MMO players are growing sick and tired of the genre, as well as discuss if things will change anytime soon. But first, support the content by listening to today's sponsor, Watcher of Realms, the next-gen fantasy RPG that's redefining strategic combat on both PC and mobile.
Nice.
This
Watcher
game
of Realms
features over 200 heroes across 10 factions, endless PvE content, epic raid bosses, and even intense GVG battles. On top of that, the stunning CG, top-notch audio-visual effects, and highly detailed...
We're gonna let this ad play through, guys, because obviously we're not skipping ads. What's going on? It's because we're biased by WoW, the greatest game ever made. WoW is pretty darn good. WoW is pretty darn good, man. What if they made a WoW 2? It would be tough to beat WoW 1, I think. There will be no next big MMO. We'll see what happens.
New layer of strategy to battles. Their ultimates let you reposition units in real time, allowing for
MMOs have no chance to be mid on launch because people have other options now. They don't get time to grow.
This grid-based displacement mechanic,
I mean,
blends offense and defense.
The thing is, like, WoW was like, classic WoW was good on launch though. It's almost like if you want a successful MMO, you just have to like build it for like 5 to 8 to 10 years and like just build something special, then release it, versus like trying to just build it in a couple years and release it like half finished, you know?
Is absolutely stacked with free rewards. Just by logging in daily and participating in events, you can earn an incredible 119 summons for free. Plus, you'll get the legendary hero Astriel, new skins, emotes, a summoning stone skin, an avatar, a legendary skill crystal, and so much more. There's also a lot of fun mini games.
Okay, we're still in this ad here. Yo, Antretti, thanks for the prime, man.
Earn even more rewards. It's truly the best time to dive into Watcher of Realms, so click the link in the description or scan that QR code to download Watcher of Realms for free on PC, Android, and iOS, and start your legendary journey today.
Okay, here we go. We're in it.
The biggest reason why I think MMO players have a less positive attitude to the genre nowadays than say 10 years ago is that in the past 8 years, not a single new MMO release has managed to break into the top 5 most played games in the genre and stay there for longer than a few months. The top 10 most popular MMOs are WoW, OSRS, Final Fantasy XIV, Black Desert Online, Albion Online, Guild Wars 2, ESO, EVE Online, MapleStory, and RuneScape 3. Most of these MMOs are really old. Albion Online and BDO are the newest to secure spots in the top 10, with Albion releasing in 2017 and BDO releasing in Korea back in 2014. MMOs are games that take a lot of investment, so whenever a new MMO does come out these days, in the back of your mind you're thinking, there's a 99% chance that 1 to 2 years from now this game will be dead, which is a really crappy feeling to have. We've seen this with games such as Throne and Liberty, New World, Corepunk, PAX Day, Arcade Unchained, Bless Unleashed, Bless Online, Brighter Shores, and many, many more. I guess this is another reason why nowadays people would rather invest times into the older games in the genre rather than play the newer stuff. Odds are, WoW, Final Fantasy XIV and OSRS will still be here 5 to 10 years from now. The moment I started to enjoy the genre again was when I decided to just commit to the older games and stop looking for the next big thing.
I mean, yeah, they respect your time because you know they're not going to be rug pulled anytime soon. It's just like, this matters and this will continue to matter, right? That's what RuneScape does really well, because nothing's really changing. If you have like a 99 in something, that's going to matter like always, or matter even more 5 years from now, because there might be new stuff that you can actually do with it that you couldn't even do now. So if you level at 99, the only thing in RuneScape, the only thing that you're going to get is even more value from it. Not less, but more, right? I think Classic WoW does this pretty well as well. Like in Classic WoW, it feels pretty darn good. The problem with Classic WoW is there's like seasons all the time. So it's like, okay, you play the season and it's fun, but then a few years down the road, there's going to be a new season. So everything you did a few years back is kind of wasted, right? So that's what RuneScape's doing like really, really well.
If a big new MMO comes out and it's a lot of fun, then great. If not, no worries, I'll be enjoying myself with old school RuneScape regardless. Another big reason why people are sick and tired of new MMOs is that they've seemingly hit a point where they objectively haven't massively improved or innovated in the past 10 years. When it comes to action combat, the gold standard is still Black Desert Online, a game that took 4 to 5 years to develop and released in 2014. No other MMO has action combat anywhere near the level of BDO.
I've never played BDO, but that makes me want to try. I didn't know this was like the gold standard by any means. I'm a WoW gamer. It's like, yeah, I don't know.
For tab targeting, World of Warcraft is still the gold standard in terms of fluidity and responsiveness.
Yeah.
We frequently get modern MMOs releasing nowadays with worse combat than what existed 10 to 20 years ago, and it's hard to wrap your head around why. It feels like we're going backwards. Games like Bitcraft, PAX Day, Quinfall, Embers of Drift, Bless Unleashed, and Corepunk all have dog-tier combat that makes you question how they even released in that state. Even Korean MMOs in recent years seem to have forgotten how to design good combat. Korean devs used to be masters of creating the best action combat in the genre, but recently we've had Throne and Liberty, a game heavily criticized for being clunky as hell. To be fair, the gameplay got a bit better with a few updates, but it's still nowhere near the level of World of Warcraft. Chrono Odyssey is another one. Recently did a beta test, combat wasn't great, people weren't impressed, needs a lot of work to even be passable. And just take a look at the latest Korean slop MMO to be announced at G-Star called Architect. Clearly mobile, PC, console, cross-platform based on the user interface, every ability, heavy static animation locks, clunky movement, janky animations. You can tell just by looking at it that the gameplay is complete arse. Bellatorus, another upcoming Korean MMO. Granted, it looks a bit better than Architect, but still, it really doesn't look that great, does it? The dodges especially just look atrocious. This is what I mean about upcoming MMOs seemingly not progressing or straight up going backwards compared to what was releasing a decade ago. As someone who reviews MMOs,
I've talked about this before, but like, I am such a big fan of tab targeting in WoW, having a player health bar, having a target, and then having a focus. It's probably just because I've played WoW this whole time. Like, I'll concede to that, but I just like it. Like, it just feels nice. Like, okay, I have a target, I have a focus target. Like, I can cast here, I can cast there, I can attack here, I can attack there. It just is so fluid and smooth. And it seems like a lot of modern MMOs are trying to do something just completely different. Every time it's like some different type of targeting system or this and that. Like, I'm kind of curious as to why people don't just copy WoW more often with their targeting system. It's so smooth. And since there's not like as many skill shots, you can make the character movement snappy because there's no like dodge mechanic or whatever for most things. So you can make movement snappy. You can make it feel very responsive, and you have a target. Like, I don't know. Oasin, thanks for the Prime, and Fox Toast, thanks for the Prime. I appreciate it, guys. They tried a lot of times and failed. Like New World has action combat, which I actually liked New World a lot, so I can't really hate on that. But like, I don't know. Like when you log into a new MMO, you instantly want it to feel snappy, right? Like you want to be able to move your character and just be like, okay, nice. The engine feels good. It's snappy. I can vibe out here. And it's like, it's tough when it's not like that, man.
Feels like during my pros and cons sections, it's very rare that I'll list gameplay and combat as a pro for modern MMO releases. I think Ashes of Creation is probably the only recent exception here, as that does feel like an evolution to the combat in Guild Wars 2. If you look at other gaming genres, Souls-likes, survival, turn-based RPGs, anime gacha games, ARPGs, and FPS, these genres have seen huge innovations and improvements over the past decade in ways that the MMO genre has.
Hold on, I'm gonna go back a second. Is this Ashes of Creation right here? I haven't seen much Ashes, so I don't even know. I'm assuming he was talking about Ashes. Yes. I just want to look at this for a second. Okay, so you have like an action bar in the middle, kind of looks retail-y. You have your health bar in the upper left, and you have another health bar in the middle. Okay, you have a world around you. It looks like two people are fighting and they're dodging. It's like it looks like some type of mix between like lock-on and action combat. And you have like a good amount of spells. Okay. Am I being overly critical here to say that this UI is like, I'm trying to think what I'm trying to say here. Like the color palette of this just looks like really bad. Like, what other word am I supposed to use here? Like, it just looks like it's like, brother, it's alpha. It looks like, I know it's alpha, but like, I hope that changes. It looks like it's MS Paint or something. Like, what are these? What is, like, you know, I don't know. I want more great MMOs. Why? Well, for two reasons. One, so I can play them, because I love MMOs. And two, so they can push World of Warcraft to be even better. Because if you have better MMOs, that means people will leave and play them, which means the WoW devs have no choice but to make their game better if they want to continue getting their player base back, right? So it's like more competition, more innovation, great. Or if Blizzard doesn't innovate, then we have a new good MMO. It's like, it's a win-win. It's a win-win. Either way, it's great. So like, there's no one that wants more MMOs than me, but like, I don't know, something about it. It's just like, you can't put out a game that just looks cheap, you know? Like it has to look great. Like the UI has to look great. It has to feel great. It has to, like, before you even get to anything else, it's just like these basics. You know what I mean?
If you look at other gaming genres, Souls-likes, survival, turn-based RPGs, anime gacha games, ARPGs, and FPS, these genres have seen huge innovations and improvements over the past decade in ways that the MMO genre has not. The difference between games released 10 years ago for these genres compared to now is night and day. Across the board, you've got better graphics, smoother gameplay, more spectacle, new types of content, new progression systems, better animations, and new innovative systems. The top 10 games in each of these respective genres has fluctuated much more than the top 10 games in the MMO genre. I actually think there's multiple reasons.
It's interesting too, though, because MMO is a genre where it's harder to bounce around because they take so much time. So like, okay, think about like Call of Duty, right? You play Call of Duty, you can play the game and you can have fun, and then a year later a new Call of Duty comes out, and then you can play the next one for the next year, have fun, and then the next one comes out. And you can bounce between like Call of Duty and then go play, I mean, when I was a kid, it was like Halo or, you know, Battlefield 6, or, you know, whatever. And you can bounce around and have fun. But with MMOs, it's much harder to do that because you put in hundreds, thousands of hours, and it's like, I'm not just gonna like go bounce around. It's like, I'm gonna stay here unless there's another one that takes its place, right? That's kind of like the MMO mindset. Like, let's just stay in the same exact spot until something else has more critical mass. More of my friends are playing, more people have quit. That's why like RuneScape is really appealing right now, because like everyone's playing, and it's like it's fun when everyone's playing that game. That's how it's like a community experience, right? And then if you are playing something by yourself, it feels like you're wasting time or whatever.
Why the MMO genre hasn't really progressed as much as other gaming genres though. Just to name a few, you've got the rise of mobile gaming in the mid-2010s. I think this set the MMO genre back heavily. Developers saw that mobile games had the potential to make infinitely more money than PC games for a fraction of the development cost, and as a result, many of the top MMO developers shifted their focus to mobile games or mobile PC console crossplay, which inevitably results in a worse gameplay experience, as you've then got to design a game to be playable with mobile screen size restrictions and limited inputs. The success of the free-to-play, pay-to-win and pay-for-convenience business models, starting all the way back in MapleStory, has caused more and more developers to design games in a way that they'd create problems to then sell you solutions on the cash shop. I believe that the popularity of transmog systems turned out to be a bad thing for the genre as a whole, as for most games it results in a diminished sense of visual progression during leveling, as well as developers being incentivized to make the coolest outfits cash shop cosmetics rather than earned through in-game achievement.
Yeah, definitely.
And finally, I believe that MMO developers have for the most part taken the wrong design path for the past 20.
I don't know about you guys, but for me, I am just not a mobile gamer. Like if I'm gaming, I want to be gaming. And if I'm IRL, I want to be IRL. I'm just not like a mobile, like, yeah, like even with RuneScape, I've been playing a ton of RuneScape lately and like crabbing. Like I would rather have my like crab open up on my computer and walk by and, you know, every 10 minutes hit the space bar, like click on the new crab or whatever, than like have it on my phone while I'm like trying to do something else. I don't know. I don't know, man.
Years. The success of World of Warcraft resulted in many games taking the theme park MMO route, where MMOs are only as big as their latest expansion or content patch. Everyone's trying to catch up and get to the end game as soon as possible, and as soon as you stop playing for a few months, your progress and accomplishments have been invalidated by the new content. Your previous best in slot raid gear is now equivalent to that of catch-up gear, obtainable in a few hours. The rising popularity of old school RuneScape in the past few years has shown me that the design path MMO devs should have taken was that of the curated sandbox. Timeless design where new content only adds to the world and doesn't invalidate the previous content.
Yeah, I mean, he just said it right there, right? I think that's something that us WoW players are feeling more and more, that the seasonal content was fun. It was like a quick, like, fun experience, but in the long term it just feels empty and void because everything you did kind of just goes away every couple months, every couple years. New season of discovery, season of mastery, anniversary. It's like everything that you're doing just won't matter in a few years, and it's like, it's fine, like it's still fun, it's not terrible, it's fine. But when you compare it to something like RuneScape, where that it's just like evergreen and it's just there and it's just constantly, like everything you do constantly just matters for more and more progression. It's like, wow, I want to be back to a World of Warcraft that feels that way. Like oh man, because that's how it was for a while. And it's like, it just felt so good, you know?
In all fairness, despite everything I've said in this video, making MMOs is clearly game development on extreme hard mode.
That's what I started this video saying, right? Like I said that because like someone goes like, well, what would you do in an MMO? It's like, bro, it's tough. It's not easy. That's why I think the way RuneScape does it with community polls, 70% or more of the community has to agree on something in order for it to be implemented into the game. 70% is a fairly high number. 51 isn't going to cut it. 55 isn't going to cut it. 60 isn't going to cut it. Like you need a large majority of the player base to break the precedent that was already set in stone that got us to where we currently are. Right? Not just a small majority, a large one. 70%. Like I can't state that enough. That's like a big deal. If that many people are on board about a change, it's probably gonna be pretty good. And if not, you can vote it back out. And like, I would go so far as to say that nobody would be good enough at game design to be better than a system where the players actually just completely curate what is coming next. Right? Like no one, I would probably argue that no one is more in tune with what the players want than the aggregate of the players themselves. Who else would be? To claim that would be like incredibly prideful, right? Like of course no one else is more in touch with the player base than the players themselves and the aggregate of the players themselves on a 70% or higher voting system. No one, right? So it's like, of course, right? Of course that's the, like, that has to be the way you move forward, right? Like I wouldn't be able to do it. Peekaboo wouldn't be able to do it. No matter who you hired wouldn't be able to do a better job than just asking the players themselves. You get your fingers on the pulse, the actual pulse, and then you make the decisions. There we go.
Games take years to make, they cost the most to develop, and you're competing with older games that not only have 10 to 15 years of live content development over you, but they've also got heavily invested player bases that aren't going to be so quick to jump ship to another game due to years of time investment. Huge MMOs from big studios often get cancelled. To name a few, we've recently had the untitled ZeniMax Online MMO get cancelled.
I think there's someone in the chat that brought up a good point. I'm just going to pause again to talk about this for a second. There's a quote from Henry Ford. This is a good one. He says, "If I asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses." So it's referring to Henry Ford in the truck, or, you know, inventing the assembly line. And it's like, yeah, that's actually that. Okay, so that's a good counter argument. What I will say is, if you're a true visionary, then sure, you can break the rules and can do something that's never been done. For the Henry Fords of the world, or like the Blizzard back in the day that innovated with putting out WoW in the first place when no one even knew they wanted that, sure, I concede. That's a fair point. That is a fair point. But for everyone else, if you're not like a true visionary, that's like I'm not saying that lightly, it's probably better to do community voted system, right? Yeah.
Hytale was cancelled, even with the support of publisher Riot Games. EverQuest Next, the Marvel MMO, the Riot MMO had to restart development. Blizzard's Project Titan was initially an MMO before being reworked into Overwatch. Then we've got countless Kickstarter MMOs like Chronicles of Valeria, Camelot Unchained, Pantheon Rise of the Fallen, and far too many to even mention that either ran out of money, went through development hell, or are still in development.
Is there any
hope though? Are we ever likely to see MMOs become as popular as they were in the early to late 2000s? Honestly, I don't know. I'd always hoped that with technology improving, developers could potentially use AI to assist them with coding so that MMOs could be developed in a quicker time frame, but I'm not too sure if that's the case because I'm not a developer. At this point, I'm aware that most of you watching this video are probably in your late 20s to early 40s. We're getting old, and a lot of us just want something to relax with after work and get that good brain feeling from seeing the number go up. You can still do that with the old MMOs, OSRS, Ultima Online Outlands, World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy XIV, Guild Wars 2, BDO. These are still fun games you can relax with. OSRS in particular is aging like a fine wine, and I've personally sank over 2,000 hours into it on my Iron Man this past year alone. In Buddhism, the second noble truth is that suffering
Is that the GPU plugin? His game looks so good.
Comes from desire. Gratitude is also one of the keys to happiness. So instead of constantly looking for the next big thing, perhaps it's best to accept what we have now and try to enjoy it for what it is. But that's it for this video.
One of the arguments that I've made for about a decade now, this came to me like a long time ago, and I said it back then, and like not a ton of people really agreed, but now I feel like people are starting to agree with me. And that's this: game genres are generational. Just like names are generational, just like fashion is generational, just like music is generational. I made the claim about a decade ago that game genres are generational. So the next generation of kids isn't really playing MMOs. Like, let's just be honest. Like, most of them are playing Roblox. Well, I guess Roblox does have some of a persistent online world, but you know, we see League of Legends, there's Counter-Strike, there's, I guess Counter-Strike was kind of Counter-Strike is actually maybe not a great example because it has kind of persisted across generations. But MMOs, like when we were kids, like everyone played, like in high school and middle school, at least for a little bit, right? And now, maybe not so much. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is the MMO millennials are aging. There's no one to replace them to a large degree. Of course, there's some kids playing, but not like a ton, right? And now you have game dev studios that are like, what should we put our money into? And it's like, well, of course you should put your money into something that you're going to make more money on, not MMOs where it's a bunch of boomers that are just like not actually playing the game, right? But there's hope. I think there's hope, because I think just like music coming back into style, fashion coming back into style, generational things tend to be cyclical, which means the next generation of kids, maybe they'll be MMO players. Maybe my son will be an MMO player. Maybe my son's son will be an MMO player. And that means there'll be a ton of interest. When there's a ton of interest, there's a ton of money interest. When there's money interest, we have the big game dev studios making what the people want. And maybe one day we'll see MMOs back on top, right? I've made this argument for about a decade now. I think I'm right. Do you guys think I'm right? It's got to be it, man. Is that Cope? I think we see rise and fall of certain genres of games. And with MMOs, yeah, it's no different, man. No different. That's what I think.
To be honest, I just wanted an excuse to rant and ramble about the state of the genre after playing a few of these newer MMOs that seem worse than stuff releasing in the early 2010s. If you made it to the end, I appreciate you for putting up with me today, and also let me know in the comments below if you've had the same feeling of confusion about how some of these newer MMOs are failing so hard. Social media on screen, help us out with a like for the algorithm if you enjoyed the vid.
I enjoyed the video. There it is. Yeah, massive vid. I got this in my YouTube recommended like weeks ago. I've been meaning to watch it. Massive W, dude.